we talk separately, and if we want to put primary, if we can say it, or priority topic among all those three, between FinCoP, between EduCop and knowledge products, it goes like this. Priority all three topics when we talk about FinCoP. EduCop priority second and third. First one a little bit less than those two. Knowledge product priority all three. And when we talk about others, we think that development areas connected with PSA education are also very important, and that we just start with education in this area. Thank you very much.
Just to reconfirm, so those on the screen, you just say that these are our priorities. You do not have any other priorities that don't on the screen?
No.
Got it.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, good. Yes, please.
First of all, thank you for this great event. It's always a pleasure to participate in PULSAR events. In our opinion, we should make more stress on practical side of issues related to public sector. First of all, we think that the most important one is to discuss practical issues related to consolidation process. I mean, it will be great to get familiar to best practice in this field and listen to experts who are directly involved in preparation of consolidated financial statements. They can be representatives of different countries, especially Estonia, as we have heard. They are very developed in this sphere. So it will be great to hear those experts who are directly involved in consolidation process. Second one is we think that it will be great to discuss how in different countries organization accounting function is organized. I'm in public sector. I mean, it's centralized, decentralized, or some hybrid structure. So it will be great to hear the experience of different countries and understand which is the best practice to organize accounting function, because it is also crucial for success of public sector accounting reform. As we heard yesterday, the day before yesterday, in Estonia they have specialized organization which provides this kind of services to public sector organizations. So this is the second one for FinCoP. Third one, it will be great to have either knowledge product or some concepts related to heritage assets. As I'm not mistaken, IPSA's board is preparing this kind of consultation paper already issued. Great. And if it is issued, then more practical side, how can be, it can be implemented, used in practice. And developments that can occur in sustainability reporting. It will be great to be updated in this sphere as well. In case of EduCop, we think that it will be great to have like a list of disciplines and education programs that experts think are very important for public sector accounting qualification. As there are several public sector accounting qualifications organized by, I guess, SIPFA and other organizations, it will be great to have these disciplines in order to understand how can we implement it in our countries. And also some changes have occurred or taken place in international education standards that are being issued by IFAG. Also, they are responsible for issuing IPSASs, International Public Sector Accounting Standards. So international education standards are more related to private sector, and IPSASs are related to public sector. What they think, how can these educational standards be linked to public sector? Do they need to make some changes in these educational standards, or separate standards should exist for public sector accountants? And final one, the difference, or how should qualification be linked with educational program in academia? Do they replace each other? Do we need both qualification and educational program in universities? What is the best practice in this field? So, this from us. Thank you.
En consolidatie van
Georgiana, please.
IFRS, maar
Just,
IFRS.
I'm typing on the screen. If you see,
Laat zit er nou
just
in,
please
wat
reflect.
ik
If there is something which you are not agreeing or need correction, please let me know. Georgiana, Ludmila, and then we'll go to Albania.
Es
Georgiana,
over
please.
the room, es. Sen ismi bana abi.
Georgiana.
Government.
Georgia, please.
Arman, ne bileyim.
Georgia. Who is? Turab? Okay, then Ludmila, пожалуйста.
Спасибо.
Thank you. I'm not going to repeat what we have on the screen, because in the course of 3 days we discussed that. First, we discussed that in Batumi, and of course, at present, the important thing is sustainability reporting. This is important for next year and long term. This is important for accountants, because if we look back 10 years, what were the responsibilities of an accountant working in the public sector to perform his or her job? And 7-10 years have gone by. How much he or she have to know? What has changed in the requirements? Of course, knowledge has expanded quite considerably. What has changed in the work of the accountant? His or her status in the budget organization, or a status of the ministry or an agency has not changed, but the responsibilities have expanded. More requirements to knowledge have been presented, and managing public finance has now a section pertaining to reforming the staff of public servants in every country. The number of officials are being optimized, and the accounting services are not included into the strategic operations that provides transparent, adequate, and secure reporting for the planning purposes and for management decision making. And that is why we believe that in the long term, the World Bank should provide support to our countries. I don't know if other countries have this problem. We get more challenges, but in terms of attitude to the accounting services, we even keep hearing that a machine can replace an accountant. And at the same time, we say in the course of our lectures that an accountant has to know much and has to consult the managers. And that's why support at the institutional level to the accounting service as strategic officials to inform the policy of the country is something that is very important.
Also, IT system is important. We have discussed IT for accounting at the previous meetings when we discussed accounting of the entity, and also IT system for public finance management, also consolidation system. We have discussed it before. We had interesting presentations on this, but this topic is also promising going forward. And we need to analyze it. We need to analyze the results of this consolidation that will be done in 1 year, in 2 years, that will be implemented in the countries over 1 or 2 years. We need to analyze the experience and positive results. We need to analyze mistakes, and so we need to understand how to present consolidated financial reporting of any of our countries in order to perceive indicators of financial reporting and sustainability reporting adequately. Thank you. And if we talk about EduCop, I believe my colleagues will add something. Thank you. Key indicators on sustainability for what exactly? Look, we all consolidate financial reporting at different levels, and we have included this at the level of the central budgets, local budget, SOEs, and the level of the state-owned banks. All different levels of consolidation of financial reporting in the countries present here, to analyze the experience of each country and to take some positive things for consolidation in our countries and to compare this, because the best way to understand the correctness and prospects for further development is to have benchmarking, comparative analysis. It is the best. And for us, it is important for financial reporting. We can start with financial reporting, and maybe then later on we'll move to sustainability reporting. We need to have some general parameters and indicators. This is very important. Thank you. And we have a separate education statement. No, that's it.
Yes, please, and then, yeah, please. Вам, пожалуйста.
First of all, I would like to say thank you for this opportunity that to given us for participate in this event, and also to know these updates and so on. And for FinCoP, we write some points like each year updates for standards, implement of these standards, and discussion of these standards in this seminar updates. The second, disclosure notes preparation and how to implement these disclosure notes in advanced level. The third one, consolidation of different level of governments, companies, and also reconciliation of different level of government organization. This was FinCoP. And the second one is EduCop, sustainability reporting of public sector accountants, samples in implementation of standards like practice exercise. We would like to see some short practice exercise about these standards, because very short material having everywhere, I mean, in internet and so on. Show other countries' practice in short articles, implementation of accountants for testing process regarding development permanently of knowledge, I mean permanently development of accountant. And the last one, knowledge, is IT system implementation for supporting accrual accounting, guidelines for disclosure notes, guidelines for consolidation process in practice examples again. And the last one, IPSAS implementation at academic level, like universities, because in our country it's very few universities that do these standards, I mean public standards. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much from Azerbaijan. Now we go to Albania and then to Montenegro. Albania, please.
It works. It's on. Yeah. Oh, no, it was.
Just speak and it will work. No, there is no button. Just speak.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, perfect. We can hear you perfect.
Good morning to everybody. And first of all, thank you very much for all this wonderful and very helpful for our work, this workshop, in those 3 days. Regarding main topics for FinCoP, Albania suggests to have the first one topic is reconciliation between cash budget figures and figures on financial statements accrual based. Since Albania is implementing accrual IPSAS, this is very important for us because we are going to have cash budgets for a long time ahead. The second topic, regarding still IPSAS, first time adoption of accrual IPSAS open balances of financial position statement. The third topic regards to asset revaluation and measurement. The fourth one, provision and contingent liabilities.
What was the third?
The third,
Yeah,
asset revaluation and measurement. Okay. The fourth one, provision and contingent liabilities. The fifth and the last, public accounting regulations covering public account profession, certification and CPD. And the other topic within this, and very important for Albania, internal oversight of account standards implementation. How to organize and how to go further with this.
Internal oversight.
Oversight, yes.
Like audit assurance, or it's more policy-making oversight? Which part of oversight you are talking?
Implementation of accounting standards. How to oversight the implementation.
As a function or as an assurance provider, like internal audit, external audit, or as
assurance provider mostly. Yes. Yes, internal assurance. Yes.
Excellent.
Just to explain this topic, because, for example, Treasury will prepare the final consolidated figures of financial statements and will report to Parliament. But how to ensure that all information, financial information of organizations, of all entities are
accurate,
in line with approved standards.
Excellent.
This is very important for us, how to deal with this. Regarding EduCop, so this is all for FinCoP. We do agree with what is already in the list. We just would like to add CPD curricula and materials for sustainability reporting and assurance. And CPD curricula to be treated independently for different levels of accountants, yes. Okay. Okay?
Yep. Excellent.
Knowledge products. We have some to add here. The first one, accounting materials for different issues on accrual IPSAS implementation. Illustration with concrete cases. The second, a toolkit on public accounting regulations. Can be accounting law, instructions, manuals, it depends. The third one, okay?
Yeah.
The third one, guidelines for international education standards. Okay. And the fourth and last one for this paragraph is CPD program for different levels of finance staff and management.
This is knowledge product, right?
Yes, knowledge product, still there.
Level of finance staff, it's not accountants, finance staff and managers. Yeah.
Yes. We think that also the managers' training is very important. How they can use the financial statement information on their job. This is very important.
Great.
And regarding the last one, which are others topic, we suggest to have, if it's possible, study visit in concrete countries for concrete cases to see. And this is all for Albania.
Very comprehensive. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Even applause
Thank you too. Thank
for,
you.
Excellent work done. To all actually, but you have very structured. And Montenegro,
Thank
and
you.
then we go, yeah. Montenegro, please. Okay, Montenegro, first North Montenegro, North Macedonia, yes, and then we're moving to Kosovo.
Hello, everybody. In case of Montenegro, our burning topic is designing an IT system. Since we developed a regulatory framework, we are now in a phase of designing a comprehensive IT system. So we're interested in designing and phase implementation of IT system to support accrual accounting, financial and ESA fiscal reporting. Also, considering FinCoP, we would like to hear more about assessment of the value of infrastructural and heritage assets, such as developed models, statistical, etc., with example in some countries who implemented this assessment successfully. Concerning EduCop, we would like to know more about developing training programs on sustainability reporting. Since we developed a program for training of accountants in public sector according to IPSA standards, we would like to know more about this topic, since sustainability reporting is a burning topic today. Also, we would like to hear more about analysis of financial statements based on ratio analysis, since till now we were all talking about how to develop financial statements with certain accuracy, but these financial statements need to have a purpose, and that's why we think that this kind of analysis is crucial, especially for the purpose of management and decision makers. Also, we are interested in knowing more about forensic accounting and to hear about developing training programs in forensic accounting and risk management in financial accounting and reporting. Considering knowledge products, since EPSA standards are not ready yet, even though we know that this is something which is really demanding to ask, but we would like to have like a special guidelines or instructions or manuals which will integrate demands of IPSA standards and selected, or at least selected IPSAs and ESA demands, if it is possible.
So can you repeat, so what was about?
Since EPSA standards are not ready yet, since they're in preparation phase, we would like to have like guidelines or manuals or instructions, any kind of knowledge products, which will integrate the demands of IPSA standards or at least selected IPSAs and ESA demands, ESA reporting demands.
ESA.
Yes. To have EPSAs before EPSAs.
So you have IPSAS and ESA 2010, right? This is how to...
Yes.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, North Macedonia, and then you have Montenegro, you have more? Croatia, sorry. Because Croatia, we have only one. Okay, and North Macedonia, then we'll go back to Croatia. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for defining the first three priorities with which we fully agree as a country that they are of high priority for North Macedonia. The first one that you are...
Just the topic, we are not just now discussing priorities. The only point of whether they are complete and all your priorities covered. You don't need to repeat. If there is always
Yeah, I will not repeat them. Just I'm saying that we fully agree with them and also with priorities that Albania defined. And I would like to add some different of them. For example, in FinCoP, digitalization, big data, artificial intelligence in the public sector, and also IPSAS implementation, because we are still on cash-based and we need urgently this accrual-based and IPSAS implementation. In EduCop, we have...
any specific, like IPSAS accrual implementation in general?
In general, yes. Also, for EduCop, we suggest TOT for preparing academic curriculum in accordance with international education standards. Preparing academic curriculum in accordance with international education standards. Then competence for professionals to enhance fight against corruption and forensic accounting in order to have effective fraud investigations.
Just guidelines for fraud and investigation.
Yes. Fight against corruption and forensic accounting in order to have effective fraud investigations.
But fraud investigation, is it in your country, it's accountants' business?
Yes, accountants are fully involved in fraud examinations. Okay, then trainings how to attract and retain talents in the public sector and to offer them continual professional career, because we have big fluctuations in the public sector and young people are going out of the public sector and also qualified people are going out of the public sector. So, trainings how to attract and retain talents in the public sector.
How to attract and retain, yeah.
Then trainings for improving knowledge in professional skepticism. Improving knowledge in professional skepticism. TOT for preparing curriculum for continual professional development of public sector accountants. I think that you wrote already it, yeah. Then TOT for Power BI as a tool useful for presentation of important financial information.
This is about
Power BI.
product, knowledge product, right? Or
Yeah, we have also in product knowledge. Yeah.
okay, so here, okay, there. How to present the public sector accounting data
With Power BI.
with impact.
Yeah. Yeah. And in knowledge products, we have guidelines for international education standard implementations. Implementation. Guidelines for international education standards implementation.
Yes, it was there. Thank you. Great. Okay. Croatia, and then we are done with this part. We'll move to Kosovo finally.
Good morning. I'm the only representative from Croatia, and I'm here regarding EduCop, so my suggestions are going to this topic. So I fully support the topics that my colleagues already mentioned regarding analysis of financial statements in public sector accounting, also risk management in public sector. Also connected to this topic, I suggest something regarding mapping of processes. We had the opportunities to listen the role of artificial intelligence in mapping processes a day ago. So maybe we can proceed with this topic in the future. Furthermore, I suggest that if it is possible, some topics regarding internal controls are included in this program as well. Up to now, we had the opportunity to listen something about the state auditing and the role in sustainability, but maybe we can cover also some topics related to audit of performance in public sector. This is also something that Supreme Audit institutions do. For
this one, can you elaborate? Audit of performance?
Performance audit, value for money audit.
Okay, and this is for accountants, right? You will need that type of...
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And if I may suggest that we include internal audit perspective here, there are some specifics in the application of the IPPF in internal audit of public sector entities, so maybe this can be also something that we can hear in the future. And regarding knowledge products, maybe if you can provide us some list of financial ratios for financial statement analysis in public sector. And that's all. Thank you.
Great. And the last one, I think, Kosovo, right? Anything else? Yeah, Georgia, yes. You took a pause and...
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Last but not, and Moldova as well, yes.
Thank you very much. Those who talk at the end have less things to say.
Yes, which is good.
But I'll try not to repeat my colleagues. Okay, since I come from Accounting Association and University of Pristina, I will start with EduCop, because I'm related to education. We need to have a training of trainers for using artificial intelligence tools. We need the training for, as was said, ESG reporting and new trends on digital developments. TOT for ESI standards and internal audit of public sector. And as well, we need continuation of TOT for IPSAS, because we used to have one with ACCA and CFRR, but we need continuation of that, and more trainers from Kosovo need maybe to attend this event.
Yes.
TOT for CFAS. Now I will continue to FinCoP. My colleagues from Ministry of Finance of Kosovo have written some points. application of AI for financial reporting. Accounting for provisions and contingent liabilities was already said. How to develop financial and budget literacy program. Information system integration of PSA into IFMS. The link between public investment management and PSA. Training for budgeting with focus on sustainability. And knowledge products. We need ESG standards to be translated into Albanian, IFRS S1 and S2, and as well European standards ESRS, it says. We need training materials, examples, case studies, sample examination questions regarding training for sustainability reporting. We need as well digital tool for ESG reporting to collect information from related parties. And as well in our country, we need update of RASC reports and to share lessons learned from each countries. Maybe this is not such related topic to EduCop and FinCoP, but it's related to CFRR, so that's why we mentioned it. Thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you. Georgia and Moldova. Georgia, please.
About FinCoP, we have identified some issues about challenges of PULS assessment based on results of ongoing assessments in Ukraine and Armenia, if I'm right. Consolidation of SOEs in consolidated...
Sorry, first one is to conduct the PULS or what?
No. Identify of challenges of PULS assessment based on ongoing assessments.
Yes.
And the results of these assessments. Because we are planning to be a third country, pilot country for PULS assessment. Second issue is about consolidation of SOEs in consolidated financial statements of government with practical examples of advanced countries, because it is also a very important question at this point for us. Third issue is about contingent liabilities and guarantees, how to reflect it, this kind of issues in consolidated financial statements of government. And as regards of knowledge products, we have identified one issue about review and update manual of multipurpose of chart of accounts in order to reflect new or amended standards and the requirements of sustainability reporting goals. Thank you. As regards of EduCop issues, Dariel will continue.
So basically, I'm not going to repeat a lot from the EduCop, but I've been keep speaking about the certification process for a while, and we would like to.
Мы хотели бы форсировать эту тему и дальше, ибо Академия Минфина и университеты в Грузии уже запустили процесс сертификации. Это новое для внутренних аудиторов, и мы хотели бы распространить это и на бухгалтеров госсектора. У нас есть дорожная карта, руководящие указания, как это делать, и мы хотели бы начать процесс, поскольку потребуется время, 3-4 года, для завершения первого процесса сертификации, с тем, чтобы пропустить через процесс первую группу людей. Время потребуется. Этот процесс не будет иметь краткосрочных последствий, но будет иметь долгосрочные последствия. Это изменит всю систему бухучета не только в Грузии, но и в регионе. И то, что мы внедрим в Грузии, можно будет реплицировать и в других странах PULSAR в рамках обмена опытом. Сертификация имеет первостепенное значение в контексте EduCop. То есть для нас главный приоритет сертификация, начиная с подготовки программы и затем осуществление в самом процессе. Благодарю вас.
Very good. So all are done, right? No, Moldova, and then, yes, yeah, Serbia, sure. Moldova, please. Moldova, Serbia, and then Andreas. Yes, Moldova. And then lunch only. Until we are done, we will not, coffee break. We will not go for a coffee break. Yes, please.
Moldova поддерживает.
Moldova supports all the proposals by our colleagues, and we would like to clarify that after each presentation, in the head of every accountant, there is a thought how all this information to be presented in the report. Should it be as a narrative, as an Excel table, or as a financial report? And that is why when we talk about an accounting report on the accrual basis, Moldova, on repeated occasions, tried this accounting principle. And of course, many questions arise. And we would like to ask your colleagues and your speakers in the future to provide some clarifications. Of course, not in great detail, because this will be too complicated, because every country has its own laws and rules. But clarifications in the sense that at what stage we have to recognize the budget income and payments. At the time of the preparation of the certified document, as is stated in our law, every operation should be reflected in the accounting report only when there is sufficient proof. Or the second point, should we reflect receivables in terms of taxes for the entire budget year? These are the questions that are of concern to us at present. Perhaps the speakers and other countries who have already tried that or are already using the accrual method with respect to the budget revenues, perhaps they could share their experience with us. And of course, when we talk about the accrual method for budget revenues and payments, there is another major problem. Who is the responsible organization for the receivables, for payments due? Is this the tax authority, or would this be the Ministry of Finance? For us, this is an important question. Perhaps for some countries, these questions have already been resolved. We would be happy to hear the experience in other countries. And of course, we would also like to learn the experience of other countries, whether they have a unified information system for accounting in the public sector. Could you repeat the last point? Who is the responsible organization? The very last point. A unified information system for accounting in the public sector, if there is such an information system in other countries. We are, perhaps we can put it in this way, we would reconcile. And the second question is accountability. Who is responsible for each? Yeah, this is important for us. Thank you very much. Serbia. Let me just add, good afternoon. I would like to add that the special nature of our country, there is no certification for chief accountants. It is important to organize sharing best practices so that the person who is providing information and providing financial reporting, that person has to be certified. Thank you very much. I believe that this will be among the others item. Serbia.
Najpre htjela bih ispred
First of all, I would like to thank you for the organization of this event and for all the investments and effort invested to move things forward in public sector accounting in our countries. In terms of topics for our further work, there has been so much said that it's very difficult to add anything new, but we do have some proposals. First of all, regarding the format, the working format at our conferences, so we would suggest that we also have some more practical aspects. And in addition to having presentations and discussions, that we also have workshops where we would be able to actively participate or more actively participate in implementation or application of some things we are discussing. Also, Serbia has just translated IPSAS standards. Next year, we are starting with the implementations, and we would like to have more materials regarding practical application of the respective standards. And maybe a parallel when we introduce standards for SMEs in the private sector. The WorldBank organized a very useful workshop where we practice the implementation of these standards by modules for each and every standard with a lot of illustrative examples. And this was very useful for colleagues at the Ministry of Finance and also for us at the Academy, because the students find it interesting when some theoretical knowledge could be immediately practically applied, and especially because we still lack academic handbooks, especially regarding PSA. In terms of sustainability and sustainability reporting, of course, this is a very topical issue, and we are all worried how we are going to fight the challenges. We were able to hear a lot of examples here, countries, cities that already do sustainability reporting, and it will be useful to hear somebody from those who are participating in preparations of such reporting, to hear how this reporting process is organized, because we are still not sure who is going to have which accountability in this process and where the accountants are. So it will be very interesting to see for preparers so where to find information, how the information system is organized, and who is involved in what in accounting. And also generally having in mind that we also now have IFMIS standards for sustainability reporting, IFRS S1, S2, the materials with some illustrative examples, training materials would be more than welcome for all of us. And also would like to support the Croatian colleague regarding audit, because we don't have so much audit in our events. So maybe it would be also useful to start with internal controls, internal audit, and also state-level audit to hear some challenges in these areas. And also now regarding sustainability reporting in the public sector, for instance, whether state audit here is going to audit such reports. And then again, we need to develop competences for this type of assurances. That's it from us. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you very much. Tajikistan, sorry, unraised, yes. This is
much for giving us the opportunity to attend here, to take a part here, and giving us the status of special guest, Mr. Rediren. And thank you one more time. As we are in the process of shifting to the automatization of our accounting process in Tajikistan, so we are interested in either any good practices in having a unified model for all the accountings of all the budget entities, or separate modules. and the pluses and minuses of both of these models. And the second point is the integration of this model of budgets entities and the SOEs. Maybe should be any practices and guidelines. And thirdly, it would be good for us to have a manual about the receivables and the payables based on the accrual basis. Thank you very much one more time. That's all. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Andres, your reflections.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the feedback. I think it's very, very good points you make, all of you. And mindful of time, I will just focus on 3 topics. Well, the first one is really there have been about 6 new IPSASs being issued. And some of you alluded to that in your interventions. And actually, some of those IPSASs are replacing existing IPSASs. And in particular, IPSAS 45 is replacing IPSAS 17. Which has been a good friend for us for many, many years, but it will be gone, and it will be gone, and that's perhaps the not so good news. It will be gone in a year and 2 months. It will be gone very quickly. So that includes that also poses a problem for those countries which have already implemented IPSAS 17, which is wonderful, but it will be gone in a year and 2 months in January 2025. And that's the main implication of that one is really heritage assets. I think that's the main thing you need to discuss and you need to identify in those countries which have already adopted IPSAS 17. There are more things which change, but you have more time for those things to reflect on those, so no hurry on that one. But also for those just implementing, I mean, it is a quite sharp turn, so you need to reflect that you should no longer base yourself on IPSAS 17, but you should be based on IPSAS 45 instead. So I think heritage is certainly an urgent matter we need to deal with. Just one thing, there was a notion of Italy on that one, and I almost had a heart attack on that notion of Italy. I mean, Italy is of course, it's a very funny example, and we will have a lot of laughter and fun if they present, but I would say it's not compliant with IPSAS 45. And therefore, and Ross is actually supporting me in that view that it is not compliant with IPSAS 45. So I would suggest not to go with a funny example, but to go with examples that work actually. That's the first point on those new standards. Just one remark on that one. Also, IPSAS 9 and 23, revenues from exchange and non-exchange will be gone. And in particular, that criteria of exchange and non-exchange will be gone. It's no longer there. So that has quite important implications. We have 1 more year for that one. It's only in 2026 when it will kick in, not in 2025. So it's a bit slower. Huh? Second, we have heard from a number of countries like Albania, but also I think North Macedonia, Montenegro, that they are really still in the process of adopting and implementing IPSAS, and they have queries about opening balances and things like that, and that's really important questions. Here I would say, well, we have also a lot of people in the room who have done that. I mean, you have done that in Armenia, I think. You have done that in Azerbaijan, I'm sure. You have done that in Georgia. I mean, you have done that in many countries in the region. So here I think what we should do probably a bit more is learn from each other, because ask your colleagues, don't ask international experts. Of course, I can also express an opinion on that one, but ask your colleagues. They have done it. They have done it successfully. Maybe somewhat successfully, but they have done it. They have experience in that. So share experience amongst each other. That's my message on that one. The last one, which is certainly dear to my heart, but very difficult, is sustainability reporting. I mean, you're asking for training material. The problem is, well, there's not a lot around to train at this stage. I mean, I understand the request, but yes, I think I think it's also quite difficult to learn from practices, because we have seen a few countries in Canada do something, but it's not coordinated. It's sort of all over the place, and therefore, yes, it will be interesting to see examples. It will be interesting to see the Ecuadorian example from our friends from FOCAL, but that's an example. That is not the final version we will see in 10 years or so. It's interesting, but I think bear with us. We are here, unlike IPSAS implementation. IPSAS implementation, we know how to do it. Many have done it, including people in the room have done it. But with sustainability, we all need to learn. Huh? So we need to learn together. We will not have a final version presented in the next meeting. That's not an option. And I think that's all from my side. I think, as I said, also those topics which I have not mentioned now are very valuable and very important.
Thank you very much, Andreas. Ross, you would like to reflect on, or just the topics? Yeah, please.
Yes, so I agree with all of Andreas's points. I can't disagree. And even on IPSAS 45, it largely is mostly carrying forward IPSAS 17, but there are some significant differences. So the heritage scope out is being removed from IPSAS 17. So those heritage items you have that meet the definition of PP&E will need to be recorded as PP&E. And that's pretty clear in the new guidance. So, and it is a short timeline to implement it. And this was an area where the board and staff actually saw it differently. So staff initially proposed a longer implementation timeline and the board overrode us. So it's a little bit of a issue between IPSASB and the staff as well. But I would say the one positive thing, and I'm not sure if my IFAC colleagues talked about it yesterday, but one of the things they're doing is updating the train the trainer materials for all of the new standards. So that's ongoing now, and we're hoping that IFAC will be launching that by early 2024. I haven't had a progress update from them in the last month or so, so I'm not sure where it sits, but there is a consultant right now working through the update of all the way from IPSAS 44 to IPSAS 49. And to Andreas's point on sustainability, I think that really is a moving target. So I would be careful on focusing on examples you're seeing where people are voluntary reporting, and maybe keep watch of the developing standards and thinking about those. And as part of our project to develop our climate-related disclosure standard, we're committing to doing a train the trainer package at the end of that as well. So then when it comes out, we'll immediately have some support material available so people can think about how they're going to apply it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ross. Yes, please, any reflection? No?
No, I think we have lots of good ideas to discuss a potential program, and it was good to hear that, for example, a TOT on IPSAS that we have done in the past, it's emerging as a new need since all these changes have occurred. So that's a good one, and we're going to have it. But there are lots of good ideas. So we just need to go back to our desk, package it in a nice way, and I think we have enough material to discuss a second phase of the PULSAR. So this was really, really very useful. Also to hear from experts in the room on their view of this, because this, in the end, we need to ensure technical soundness. So it's good to hear that we are on the right path and that the thinking in the room, it's on the right path on what is needed, right? So I don't know if...
Excellent, thank you. Because Dmitry and Garik are not here, so I can commit whatever you said on FinCoP. I can say that yes, we will deliver easily, and they are not connected virtually, so that's good. So yes, it's. I think we achieved our objectives. We have captured all the priorities of your countries for the next 5 years, so we're very clear where PULSAR needs to tackle our PULSAR second phase, including on awareness raising, FinCoP, EduCop. It's very clear knowledge products. You will select on the priorities. You have established in Batumi our next priority, so that's not a question for our next event. So you have it, and you reconfirmed it now. But we are very clear for the next 5 years where we go, and that is very useful input. And every time, I mean, of course, we will just fix which is the next topic with you, and we'll move forward. Thank you very much for very productive discussions. It was really good. Now everybody deserves a good coffee, and let's come back in 11:10. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Friends, just let's take our seats. Now we're just to double check that Dmitry is connected. Dmitry was connected 20 minutes ago. Dmitry, okay, excellent. Good morning.
I'm still here.
It's 3 o'clock DC time, right? Dmitry lost his sleep these 3 days.
It's already 5.
Oh, it's already 5.
It could be worse.
Good. Friends, we just had Anara brought more publications. It's a benefit of accrual accounting. Publications are outside. And Ivona's awareness raising component lead. Always just like that, you know that publications are there in Russian language as well. In Russian. And comparative analysis of GFS and IPSAS, also very good publication. What are the differences of IPSAS and GFS? Publications in Russian language are here. Please use them. So, Dmitry, I'm passing the floor to you. We have, yes, Ludmila and Karen on the floor. You can see probably them.
Thank you, Arman. Good morning, colleagues. Ludmila, Karen. It's always good to see you and be part of the same panel table. The main objective of the session is share with you. Can you see me properly or it's too bright? Maybe I need to turn off the lights. I will do it in a second. The main objective of this session is to share with you the updates of the PULSAR assessment process. We are talking about 2 first pilot PULSAR assessment, which are being almost completed in Ukraine and Armenia. Ludmila and Karen will provide more detailed update for each of their respective assessments and processes. And at the end, I will also share with you some news about the pools, the next steps, and some new developments that we are planning to implement in the next few months. Thank you, and I think according to the agenda, we will start with Ludmila's presentation on Ukraine experience.
Thank you very much. Dmitry, unfortunately, you are not with us here in this room, but it's very nice that we can hear you, and it is great. It was very comfortable here. It was great to work with you in one team, and going forward, we hope that we will work not just on assessment of the PSA system in the public sector, but also overall on the assessment of the public finance management, because PSA is only the element of public finance management. I'd like to discuss it very briefly. After 3 days, I don't think that colleagues are really interested in the assessment level, but probably you're interested in the system itself, how the assessment was carried out, and what were the indicators that were used. As the colleagues from Georgia mentioned, they have the intention to perform the same assessment in Georgia. Maybe some other countries who would like to join, maybe Moldova, maybe someone else would join us. And last time at our previous meeting in Batumi, I mentioned that why we performed this assessment. If you remember, I mentioned that, first of all, it is self-assessment just to understand if we're doing this right. And the participants in this room, we do direct IPSAS implementation or we use national standards. In Ukraine, we use national standards. What are national standards? This is creative work of the team. This is how I would put it. The Ministry of Finance, which carefully studies international standards. We have in-depth knowledge of national legislation, and I believe we make serious fundamental things in order to help the budgetary units to create correct, clear information for further activities at the level of the budgetary unit, the ministry, and the government in general. So we need to understand how these national standards comply with the conceptual framework. And the first point I'd like to make, I would say this has become our motto, our slogan. The decision was made based on the conviction that the difficult times, and now we have difficult times in Ukraine, everyone knows that, as there is place during the difficult times to multiply knowledge and to raise the level of compliance with international practices. This is our aspiration. Every country should aspire for this, regardless of the circumstances we're facing. We need to look into the future because, as I mentioned at the previous panel, we need to look 5 years ahead and so on. One of the processes that we have examined was not just efficiency of the PSA system, it was also organization of accounting and the issues of digitalization. What are the benefits of the PULSE assessment? I would like to advertise this software product. First, it is the software product. We discuss what kind of products we are using and so we are planning to use, in particular for doing primary accounting that we love so much, because not in every country there is software product to generate information at the level of primary accounting. When we have the standards and when it puts every primary document as the basis for development of information for financial reporting, this is a very responsible point, and this determines all the rest of the settings that ultimately lead to the results of the consolidation and, once again, to the results of preparing of macro-financial, macro-fiscal indicators and budget indicators and identifying the deficit or surplus of the budget in each country. Everything depends on the accountant who reflects this information correctly in the reporting. And for this, we need to support the right application of the conceptual framework, because international standards tell us only about the rules which we have to apply, which we need to apply, but are they applied in a certain country according to the specificities of the budget law? This was examined during PULSE assessment. Then we had the check of the current framework of the accounting. Once again, using the web tool of assessment available in this program. We worked closely with the developers because these were the first pilot projects. Together with Armenian colleagues, we improved ourselves in the work with the software. Also, the assessment team was involved and the developers team was involved. So the countries that will perform this assessment later, you will already have this practical benefit. You will have mature software products that will allow you to do it quicker and more efficient to perform this assessment. Using the assessment for development of policy recommendations and planning actions for further developments. I will discuss it later. How the assessment was performed. This is the timeline of assessment, which is interesting for you if you decide to take this option. As we were the first ones, we had to fine-tune our art, our skills for presenting information, and so the software product was also improved, and we worked for half a year from March to November. This is not enough to cover everything, to show everything to the team which was working on assessment. This is not enough time. However, practically this is feasible. The first and very important decision is making a decision at the level of the government, because we need to make a decision at the level of the ministry. And we need to have the interest of the leadership of the ministry. And in this situation, I'm talking about the Ministry of Finance, because we're talking about financial reporting, we are talking about sustainability reporting. All these issues are the problems of the Ministry of Finance, and we need the decision of the leadership of the ministry. So the Finance Ministry, as the lead assessment agency, took the full responsibility to perform these activities under the leadership of the Deputy Finance Minister. Svetlana is with us for the second time, for the second meeting. She is directly involved in these matters. She is the assessment team leader. Next was development of the oversight team, and the assessment team, and the external validation team, and the PULSAR team. It is the second position.
That is to say, we identified local experts, then international experts who were not familiar with the Ukrainian legislation, and an oversight team from PULSAR. I would say that this is a multi-layer approach to assessing. Another important factor, I'm currently saying what impacts the quality of assessment based on our experience. First of all, it is the team of local experts. I would like to make a recommendation to include experts very familiar with the IFSIS standards and the national standards, accounting standards, and other legislation, because in accordance with PULSE, not only accounting is assessed, but other norms, rules, and regulations contained in IFSIS and in other legislation. We cannot write everything out as far as the standards are concerned. The second expert has to be a practitioner. I'm not saying that it has to be a practicing accountant, but it has to be an expert who has had practical experience and provided consultations. In other words, he's familiar with the actual practice. The second factor for a successful assessment is the right choice of the ministries used to conduct the assessment. We don't have to identify agencies that are running smoothly. They have to provide ground for an adequate assessment. The Ministry of Justice was interesting in that they have a beneficiary service. If it is the development of a community ministry, it is the regulator for local authorities, and it is important at the local level. The State Treasury Service is self-evident. I'm not going to even comment on that. The State Audit Service, today we discussed the future. This is audit of our audit. It is very difficult to provide an assessment to, because audit and accounting have to go hand in hand. And perhaps they should not even cross in some instances to provide the accuracy of accounting reports. That is to say, we have to have a high level of knowledge, especially for the auditors. And of course, the pension fund. It is a challenge for the countries present here and the European countries that use the accrual method. These are the issues that were also discussed. How the project was implemented. First of all, we prepared a conceptual note. The work was done successfully. This is about 30% at this stage. Depending on the concept note will inform the conduct of the assessment itself. I would like to say that I am very grateful to the team of local experts and the external oversight team, but I'm also grateful to the team of the Ministry of Finance, my team, because I don't know how it is in the other countries, but we have the same people, a small group of people, a department headed by me. This is additional burden, which is not paid. I have to say, a work that was ongoing and was quite intense. So you have to be ready, you have to prepare your experts, if you want to be the driver for such an assessment, you have to get your team ready. That is to say, they should not take this as something taken for granted. A person who is an expert in this project will just provide the expert assessment. No, this doesn't work like this. These are very important steps for subsequent planning and for the future work in the Ministry of Finance. The next step was the gathering of data. Here we had experts who studied financial reporting. We had a little problem in terms of time because the financial reporting in the course of war is not published, especially in terms of the performance of the budget. And we had to make direct contacts, doing surveys. We also used questionnaires with the budget agencies, with the ministries, those who are not only in the ministries, but also those working at a lower level to obtain the necessary information. The conduct of the assessment itself includes a timetable, and we had 102 indicators at the conceptual level and 77 at the practical level. When I'm saying this to you, it looks simple. What is 102 and 77? But when you do the actual assessment, you will see what I mean. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm telling you that you'll have to roll your sleeves up and do some hard work. The implementation of the project. We reviewed the assessment. This was an intermediary stage, and then we had some serious discussions. In the course of the review, we started analyzing all the information gathered by the local experts. Then it was submitted to the international experts, and we discussed and we started our discussion. And I'm grateful to Dmitry and the IT team who met us halfway, and they disclosed the software product, because you will have certain cells in that program. You have to understand that all this is part of the software program. We have places where you can provide clarifications for additional information. This is important not only for an assessment at the high level, but also for the international experts who, as I said, do not have a clear idea of the national legislation, nor should they have it. After these discussions, and maybe Dmitry will address this later, we even consulted other experts who did not take part in the process from other countries, how to assess a particular indicator. Then, based on the materials presented, we had a preliminary assessment in early November, and you see the last box, which is currently empty, because on November 24, we are planning to prepare the final report. It is already actually ready and has been translated, and based on this report, based on this verification and validation program of all the indicators, Ukraine has received a B+. You know that management of the state finance is conducted in your country, so you know what is a B+ value. It is a very positive result. I have to say that this is a serious assessment for a country that uses national standards. And this is important because the information that served as a basis in this assessment system, we took note of it so that we would address some issues additionally. This is also very important. The next slide, let's see what we actually assessed. I can tell you that the team that was involved in the PULSE assessment, they selected the most sensitive places where it is difficult to find any leeway, where something can be covered by other pieces of legislation, by other considerations. First of all, the structure of the standard. We indicate which values we received. The second section, which leaps to the eye, at least for me, the financial obligations with respect to the countries that do not use the accrual method and they don't have the budget legislation for reserves. That is to say, they don't have the profit for the pension funds, and they will never be able to get a high level of assessment. This is a serious point, and it has to be addressed. And that's why we analyze the budget legislation, pension legislation, and so on. Other non-financial obligations, liabilities, the problems of the post-Soviet countries, because before we used material assets, how they were depreciated, how they were restored. As far as the financial instruments were concerned, they were in the background. But this is actually put to the forefront in the assessment. So we have to understand that the first item is financial assets and then non-financial assets. Please pay attention to this. Then registering revenues and expenses. I don't have to explain anything to you. We raised some issues that need to be discussed. These are the questions that pertain to exchange, non-exchange operations. This they have to be discussed to systemize the operations that are conducted at the level of a budget agency. This does not directly relate to the taxation system. You have to understand which services are provided in the course of obtaining the resources, or what resources are obtained to continue the development. We have a B+ here, financial reporting and consolidation. We discussed that already. I'm not even going to dwell on that. We do produce financial reporting. We consolidate budget and budget agencies. The consolidation, as we discussed, some values are not discussed. It is important to integrate them into the software or product. Consolidation has been going on from 2019. And then preconditions and possibilities for reforms. This is the strategic section. Our view of further development and how much is it in line with the principles that are provided for further development of standards of the accounting sector in the public sector. If we look at the conceptual level, we have these indicators here. As I said, we are talking about a high level of introduction of international standards and a conceptual framework. We did not obtain high values for pension payments, for which we don't have coverage in the state budget. We can't say anything about it. Then we have an assessment, D and NK. That is to say, there are some valuations that are not applicable to this country. The program makes it possible not to use this value because there is a standard, but it is not applicable to anything in the country. Or this is a provision of IPSAS which is not applicable because there are certain special features in other legislation, for instance, the budget legislation. That is, a D and an A is included in the program, and you will have some leeway here, which you can use to make the corrections. If you can provide a serious justification for it. Without a justification, you will have a value lower than D, and then you will have a problem. At the practical level, I would put it this way. We studied not only the standards of accounting, but also the organizational structure and the practice of implementation of the standards. And based on the selected criteria that were used with reference to certain ministries, about 90% of conceptual framework included into the national standards are actually used in practice. Why 90? Because we had a limited selection, and not all the agencies use these standards, but about 90%. If the standards are used, this is a mandatory feature. Given the fact that this is a pilot project and we had very heated discussions, we worked with the experts and the developers in the World Bank. We obtained recommendations to improve our work. Why do we conduct an assessment? As I said before, and I also mentioned this today, we come from different backgrounds, from different economies, from different systems, and different features of the accounting approaches. We come from different backgrounds. I've been involved in this from 2016, and the project goes back to 2017, and we see the same people in the room. And this is great because the same people are involved in the reform process, and they understand the nature of the reforms. And we have to conclude that this system of assessment and this exchange of best practices is necessary not only to integrate something positive, but also for comparison purposes, which will make it possible to keep going, improving the global system development and the implementation of the standards, because the standards are developed for practical work, and this is very important, not just international IPSAS standards. Depending on the changes in the IFRS, they are developed for the practitioners in specific countries. This is a very brief overview. Of course, we have to continue the update of the national standards. We do have changes. There will be changes. How quickly this is going to be done, how quickly will the national legislation amendment, it'll be pretty quickly. If it is not about something major like accounting for natural resources or something similar. The second point, continuing education of experts. This has to be done on a continuous basis. In 2023, we launched a retraining system for the people working in the accounting system. This is done online. This is a 40-hour program, 2-3 hours a day. An accountant does his or her work. He can listen in, and this is in line with the requirements of the accounting sector. The accountants themselves flagged what they would like to see and hear, and we provided the conceptual framework for this program. Again, our team at the Ministry of Finance. You know this only too well. You also use people who are enthusiastic about their work, and this is a team effort. Then we have to develop a software product. This is difficult. In Ukraine, there are many budget agencies, and any reform also depends on the scale of the country. This is an important consideration. If we obtain quality information about the reforms in Estonia, for instance, we also work with Lithuania. We have a European project, but we have to understand that the scale of the country impacts the reform process, including the software products. And we continue working closely with the international organizations, with the World Bank, with the experts, with the team of the World Bank, with you, dear colleagues, because every time I hear new information, I take notes, and I understand what we have to work going forward. A few comments on a personal level. As you know, there is always some additional information, and I even took some notes. The main elements, please take a few notes, maybe it'll be important. First of all, it's the level, decision at the level of the government to prepare a team. Second, the second point, the developer team, the team for the development of the PULSE program, they took an integrated approach. That is to say, you not only have to learn the methodology, but also take care of the organizational aspects. Sometimes the organizational aspects are put on the back burners, but the reforms are implemented by the people. So, as I said already, you have to put together a team of experts, and summing up everything and to put it into a nutshell, I would put it this way. Don't hesitate and agree if you're still thinking whether you should do this assessment. Go ahead and do it. Face this challenge. This will be important for internal use and for external use, because investments are coming into every country. We are countries in the process of development, and the investor has to know where the money is channeled and how the information is disclosed. And they may say, maybe you don't have a sufficiently transparent information in your country, and you will not be able to provide information on the investments coming in. But the head of the Department of Accounting takes the PULSE program and he indicates that the system of accounting is in line with the international requirements. That is to say, if somebody is still sitting on the fences thinking that this would be an additional burden or that the assessment will be a low value, you shouldn't be afraid. You just have to show interest in this. And I would like to wish all of you good marks, good values, qualitative work, and we have to keep going, moving forward. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Ludmila.
So let's try to be more executive. Thank you.
Thank you, Dmitry. Excellent. Thank you, Dmitry. Thank you, Ludmila, for the excellent presentation and very detailed presentation of work done by Ukrainian team. And of course, I agree with the messages which have been provided by Ludmila on the process, on the team, and the all statements which have been said by Ludmila. I will try to be very short to present the current status of assessment in Armenia. As Ludmila mentioned, Armenia, along with Ukraine, is one of the countries where PULSE assessment is conducted. And why we have agreed to be involved in this assessment, because the aim of PULSE was the main purpose of PULSE was to evaluate the quality of PSA system we introduced a couple of years ago, since 2018, and also to understand the actual implementation of accounting standards in Armenia, because we have national standard which is developed on the basis of IPSAS, to understand the compliance of the standards with IPSAS, to monitor the progress and the level of implementation, as I have already mentioned, and also to support the government of Armenia in the development of efficient and effective accounting system, which is we used a PULSE 2021 framework when we started this work. The assessment covers six components, and Ludmila speak about these components very detailed. This is legislation. One of these six components is legislative regulation, and all legislation covering public sector accounting. The other ones are assets and liabilities, both financial and non-financial, expenses and income, and also financial reporting preparation system, and the status of dynamics in reforming process of public sector accounting system. About the coverage, we have selected 8 public sector organizations. We take into account the variety of the functions which are conducted by these public sector organizations. For example, in this sample, we have included different ministries, agencies, and also state non-commercial organization, and we think that this is very representative sample, and this will allow to have a real score and the real status of the reforms which we have initiated, as I have mentioned, a couple of years ago. Full self-assessment approach is applied during the assessment. We have, of course, lead implementing entity or agencies, Minister of Finance, and we are responsible for this assessment process. But we have involved 2 external experts, national experts, who helped us in this process. We have external consultants and also key managers from national government. Now, where we are, I have highlighted by yellow. We are now on the completing phase of assessment. We have this slide shows very more details where we are. We have adopted conceptual note in June, as I'm not mistaken, in June, and we assessed 102 dimensions by assessment team. As I mentioned, the assessment team is led by Minister of Finance, but external experts have did very good work in terms of helping us. The assessment scores have been provided to external validators, and I'd like to thank our colleagues for the great work which was done by them, by our external validators. Now we are in the revision process, revisions of scores, and then we will move to the next phase, which is reporting phase. And in this phase, we also are we are going to have final report, final pulse report. About a couple of words about lessons learned. All is good. About lessons learned, we had many discussions virtually, in person. Even yesterday, great discussion was with one of our external validators. We had many discussions by email, so there were methodological issues regarding how to score particular dimensions. Is it D star, or not available? And there were technical issues connected with this system, and I would like to thank to Dmitry, who is very operational and responses very quick to our requests regarding the technical issues of the system. Maybe, yeah, that's it. I have finished. Thank you very much. If you have questions.
Thank you so much, Karen. Ludmila, again, since we are ready, it's 3 o'clock sharp, but I still would like to share a brief presentation on the new developments and next steps of PULSE assessment. Hopefully it doesn't take much time. Anara, can we project the presentation? Thank you so much. Next slide. Okay, colleagues. Well, Ludmila and Karen already mentioned what was the main objective of this pilot assessment. First, we were trying to test the implementation of PULSE web-based assessment tool, and as Karen mentioned, there was some technical issues also with Ukrainian colleagues. However, our IT provider in most of the cases was able to timely react and to fix the issue. The other objective was to identify framework or tool inconsistencies during the initial exercise of assessment, and finally detect any potential web-based tool glitches during the pilot test. As you know, the first countries for pilot assessment was Armenia and Ukraine, and right now we're also exploring the possibility to continue with the second round of pilots in the next calendar year. And the countries that express their interest to be part of this exercise is Albania, is Brazil, who is already working on the assessment of the national governments, but they're doing it mainly offline for now. However, later on I will tell you a little bit more about our experience with Brazil. Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Moldova are the other 3 countries that also express their interest in conducting the PULSE assessments. Next slide, please. News in terms of the framework. So we are getting ready to update the initial framework, which will take into consideration the latest development in terms of the new international public sector accounting standards. And it's really amazing the pace of work of the IPSAS board. In 2 years, when we developed the first version of the PULSE assessment methodology, 6 new standards have been developed. The last one, IPSAS 49, retirement benefit plans, has been just published in this month of November. As you know, Andreas Bergman and his team has been providing support to us in terms of developing the conceptual framework and the methodology. We discussed with them already the incorporation of these new standards, with exception of the last one, which was published recently, but it's something that we will discuss in the next few days. And the idea is to finalize updating the framework by the end of this calendar year. So when we start the second round of pilots, we already be using the revised version of the framework. There will not be major changes. We may be adding a couple of new indicators and dimensions, adjusting some of the original dimensions based on the new standards. Some of them they replaced the previous IPSAS. Some of them they are completely new. So there is all kind of changes, but we hope to manage that successfully by the end of this calendar year. Next slide, please. In terms of the web-based tool, we continue working on the fine-tuning and revision of the tool based on the feedback from both Ukrainian and Armenian team, and also the natural assessment process when we realize that there is some issues or something could be improved. One of the new features that we want to develop is the kind of forum that would facilitate the quality assurance process. And this is something I also learned from the PIFA review process, for instance. And I think there is much more that we can do in terms of improve the current experience in terms of the quality assurance process of the PULSAR assessment. One of the things that we were discussing with Brazilian colleagues was actually the use of artificial intelligence for PULS. This is mainly at the level of the drafting the report based on the previously provided justification and explanation on each individual dimension. So it's something that is already here. We need to learn more about that. And I understand that you had a session yesterday, or day before, with Charles, the other colleagues from the WorldBank, talking about this issue. One of the new functionalities we are working on is the export function of the assessment data information at different assessment steps. And also that something that I wanted to share with you, that the idea is to use PULS experience in developing the ePIFA tool, which is has been there for many years. However, the PIFA assessment still mainly is doing is made offline, and there is a huge opportunity there to also improve PIFA assessment process using the experience of the PULS tool. In terms of the next steps, we are aiming to complete the first round of the pilots by the end of this calendar year. Update and revise the handbook and online tool based on the results of the pilots also by the end of the year. Starting, the idea to start the second round of pilots in January, February of the next year, finalizing by September 30th of the next year, and finalize and translate the handbook by the end of the next calendar year. That is all on my end for now. I'm looking forward to keep you posted in terms of the PULS assessment progress in the next sessions and events of PULSAR. Thank you very much to Armenia and the Ukraine colleagues for their participation. Thank you to colleagues from Georgia, Azerbaijan, Albania, Moldova for expressing their interest, and we are looking forward with you on this as well in the coming months. Arman, Jose, I think we can proceed to the closing, or maybe we can, if there is any questions. maybe we can spend 5-10 minutes to address any questions from the audience.
Okay.
Dmitry, it looks was very clear on Puls, no questions. People are quite clear. Yes, I think this is, everybody of us are very proud of Puls Tour because the first time we are introducing globally a scoring-based online tool for IPSAS diagnostics and assessment. And this is, as you can see, as was presented by Ukraine, Armenia, and Dmitry was leading that development, is we are looking a lot on practical implementation. So far, all our diagnostic was about methodology, our REPEF tool previously. The WorldBank REPEF tool, it's only, we were looking at legislation, regulation standards, but not much at the practical implementation. This, the breadth of practical implementation, which gives us a lot of good insights. So I think we can go with the much expected closing of the session. And Serdar, are you connected so I can introduce you?
Yes, I'm connected.
Thank you very much, Serdar, for connecting. Serdar Yilmaz is our practice manager for public finance and procurement, and with 25 years in the bank with public expenditure management, decentralization, subnational government, so bringing a lot of experience. So Serdar, thank you very much for joining the closing of the event, and the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues, and good morning to me. First of all, I'd like to start offering my sincere apologies for not being able to join you in person in Vienna. As I was introduced, my name is Serdar Yilmaz. I'm the new practice manager for the Public Finance and Procurement Unit of the Global Governance Practice. At the global unit level, we provide specialized support and global knowledge to strengthen the design, development and administration of public finance policies, systems, and processes. We focus on core thematic areas of public financial management, including public expenditure management, public investment and asset management, public procurement and contract management, as well as domestic revenue administration, state-owned enterprises, corporate and public sector accounting, and financial reporting. In the past few months, I've been in touch with several colleagues from the Public Sector Accounting and Reporting Program team, discussing not only technical challenges, but also the future of PULSAR and other similar programs in the Eastern Europe and Central Asia region, including the Public Expenditure Management Peer-Assisted Learning Network, strengthening audit and reporting in countries of Eastern Partnership Program, and now we are starting the Enhancing Accounting, Auditing, and Sustainability Reporting Program. These programs help launching and implementing critical reforms to improve the financial reporting frameworks in beneficiary countries, strengthening the financial management practices in the private sector and among state-owned enterprises, as well as enhancing quality of business advice and auditing by the accounting and auditing profession. PULSAR is another great example of a regional program that's well acknowledged by its technical and knowledge exchange leadership, not only at the World Bank, but also globally and by other development partners, such as IMF, Inter-American Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, and the Korean Institute of Public Finance, among others. That's why we want to keep PULSAR active in the future and even expand its scope to cover some additional topics such as sustainability reporting, which I know it's a relevant topic for the entire PULSAR community. As you know, sustainability reporting in the public sector has become an important topic. As in the private sector, there has been a growing and urgent demand for sustainability information to be produced by public sector entities covering climate change, and environmental, social, and governance topics. Lenders, investors, policymakers, citizens, academics, and other stakeholders, motivated by their increased awareness about environmental and social concerns, are becoming more interested to know the contribution of the public sector addressing the global climate emergency and the ongoing progress towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. But more importantly, World Bank has put a greater emphasis on tackling with the climate change challenge and revised its vision and mission statements to reflect this pressing challenge. Our new vision statement reads as to create a world free of poverty on a livable planet. And similarly, our new mission statement is to end extreme poverty and boost shared prosperity on a livable planet. That's why recently I had a chance to talk about the relevance of sustainability reporting at the 4th KIPF Public Sector Accrual Accounting International Symposium, where I shared the podium with Andreas and Sungjin, who in turn were presenting the key findings of the first in a series of joint knowledge products to be developed by KPIF and the PULSAR program in collaboration with Zurich University of Applied Science. I hope that we will initiate more collaborations like this in other regions of the globe, which will help to further position PULSAR as a global player in the public sector accounting and sustainability reporting field. I also hope that you found this workshop useful and a great time in Vienna for the past couple of days, and that you will keep me inviting to your future events so that I will have the opportunity to meet you all in person next time. In closing, I would like to thank my colleagues, Adrian, Arman, Dimitri, Garik, and Jose for inviting me to deliver these remarks. Please have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Serdar. Thank you, Serdar. There's applause, a wave of applause for you and for your support on the global unit side. And I would like just to take, as you said, yes, we here at the PULSAR, we are digging down today and in a few important topics. And of course, we discussed about consolidation. It was very good to talk about direct and chain consolidation, and we discussed different impacts and varieties and how to proceed, including accountability level for consolidation at different levels. We heard a lot about materiality. It was probably the most frequently used word during those 3 days, materiality. Consider materiality during consolidation, not only. We also covered from conceptual and macro fiscal side on the materiality and on the consolidation side. Country experiences were very important, so we learned country experiences on consolidation and where we are, and there is a progress in many countries. Then we discussed about public net worth. I think that was a most enlightening session, where we were challenged that there are hidden assets, golden mine, which we're not taking care of, and ignoring reality. We cannot ignore reality, and we need to tackle them. The question is where to start, and the start point was just asset mapping. Start with the assets mapping first, and then proceed. Then we had a very good discussion on the IFMIS, and again, all our countries, majority of our countries in PULSAR, they raised that there is a need for IFMIS implementation or improvement. And we also covered GovTech, as digital is part of our life, including of the accounting and financial reporting. Sustainability reporting was very well covered during this event, including our new knowledge product that Andres and team are working on. And here we were talking about the impact and financial materiality, and we came to the more or less understanding that they are very close to each other. And there was a good lenses provided that let's look into this from the risk management perspective for our countries and governments. Again, consider materiality. And important for sustainability reporting, let's establish the purpose of why we do this, then not a means on itself, not an end in itself. Yes, so the question was who should take care of sustainability reporting topic. I think our early reaction is probably it will end up with accountants, and PULSAR will have a role to play. And what was important today, we just also recognize that sustainability reporting is a new topic, and there are still a lot of guidelines, manuals, and are missing. While the standards are already there, they are still being developed, and we are in the right point just to learn together, to develop together. So PULSAR is at the very right point on sustainability reporting topic side. On EduCop, it was very good discussions on the education models from different countries, and we discussed also different development areas in public sector accounting education, how we cover sustainability reporting and others. And of course, the very interesting session was with PULSAR assessment tool. And most importantly, I think the message is clear that we are keep updating the pools. As the IFMIS are being changed and updated, we're updating the pool. So you will have, and much broadly, countries will have up-to-date pools tool just to assess their systems. And very important one, I think, it's for all of us, it was very clear messages coming from PULSAR countries, from all of you, and we heard those and noted those on your priorities, reform priorities for the next 5 years. It was very good discussion and open discussion. A lot of topics where there are similarities between PULSAR countries, which is very positive for us and easier for us to work, but it was very good and encouraging. So it was quite a rich event from the PULSAR perspective. So I would like just to use this opportunity to thank I usually avoid talking about my WorldBank colleagues, but they did a lot of good job, and I would like just to note Dmitry, Jose, Natalia, Garik, and of course Anara and Irma, all behind the scene, and they did a great job just to organize that. So big thanks to my colleagues, yes, and to Serdar, of course, Adrian joining and flying in, and all this contribution. We can do applause at the end, probably a round of applause for everybody. Of course, our success of PULSAR is about our partners, our knowledge partners, and our friends from IPSAS board, and we have Ian Ross here, Andreas Bergman with all his team, our Korean partners. So it's a lot about partnership, and we have SIPFA and Global Professional Accountancy Organization. So we have Doug Dagger joined us. So we have quite a top knowledge, global knowledge in this room, and that is thanks to our partnership and thanks to our partner. Big thanks to you, and who are just not already left, and to find time to share your experience. And of course, this is a support. I would like to recognize again our donors. Without our donor support, it's Austrian Ministry of Finance and Swiss SECO, which is standing by our PULSAR program. And today we are going in 2 hours, we are going to talk to them back for our next PULSAR 2 program, and thanks to them. And this is about the program, but I would like also to recognize those brilliant 6 people sitting in the back and non-stop translating and ensuring that we can communicate with each other. Thank you very much for the great work. And also 3 gentlemen on the left side, just supporting all the technical support and ensuring that it's all smooth. Thank you for your support. So it's all recognized. And most importantly, PULSAR is about you and yourself, each and every member country who are here, who are sharing your experience, who are learning for the benefit of your countries, for the benefit of reform, and for the purpose of PULSAR is created. Thank you very much for all your contribution, your hard work, very efficient work. Safe travel back home. As we discussed, we will connect in the first half of June. The dates we will confirm, and we will let you know the topics you have identified already. So safe travel, and see you in June, and most probably in one of the Balkan countries. Thank you very much. Safe travel. Yes.
Roman, if I may.
Yeah, sure. Dmitry, please.
Yes, a couple of minutes on my end as well. Colleagues, one more time, I'm very sorry that I was not able to join you in person again. You can imagine the feeling I have after investing so much time and effort in an organization of this event and not be able to be there with you. I also wanted to share with you that I recently joined PIFA Secretariat team led by Srinivas, Prasada, and Serdar. And you might remember Srini, he used to be also part of PULSAR team as task team leader for EduCop a few years ago. And one of the main reasons why I decided to join the PIFA Secretariat team was the opportunity to use the experience of development of PULSAR assessment web-based tool to design and develop the long overdue ePIFA initiative. With thanks to both Adrian and Serdar, who is also my new boss, and who supported my idea to continue collaborating on PULSAR. I'm looking forward to continue being part of PULSAR team, working together with Arman, Garek, Jose, and Ivona. There's still so many things we can do together, and this is why it's not a goodbye, but a promise that I will do everything I can to be with you in the next in-person PULSAR event. I also hope that you enjoyed your time in Vienna and the event, and safe travels to your home, and we will be in touch. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Dmitry. Thank you, friends. Safe travel, and see you soon.